The Galactic Council had classified humans as a minimal threat species upon first contact. The assessment wasn't entirely baseless. Humans were physically weaker than most sentient species, with fragile bones, minimal natural defenses, and relatively short lifespans. They had only recently developed faster-than-light travel, their technology lagging centuries behind more established civilizations. Ambassador Trell of the Voxian hegemony had been particularly vocal about human harmlessness during their petition for membership. They're practically defenseless, he had declared to the Council. Their biggest threat is their curiosity. Let's welcome them as our galactic little siblings. The Council agreed unanimously. Humans were admitted as a protected species, assigned advisors, and given limited trading rights while they matured. Few bothered to study human history beyond the superficial technological timeline. That changed during the diplomatic reception aboard the Galactic Council Station Harmony *. Captain Mike Davis of the United Earth Marines stood in his dress uniform at the edge of the reception hall, nursing a single glass of alien liquor that couldn't get him drunk if he drained the entire bottle. The station's artificial gravity felt slightly off, and the air carried scents his brain couldn't quite categorize. Around him, representatives from 37 species mingled, their translators creating a background hum of overlapping conversations. "You seem uncomfortable human," came a gravelly voice. Davis turned to face Ambassador Trell, whose 4 eyes blinked independently as he studied the Marine. The Voxian stood nearly 8 feet tall, with armored plates covering vital areas and claws that could tear through steel. Just observing Ambassador, Davis replied with practiced diplomacy. "This is my first assignment as military liaison." Trell's upper eyes narrowed, and what Davis had learned was amusement. "Military? I forget your species maintains such archaic institutions. What purpose does a soldier serve when there are no wars?" Several nearby aliens paused their conversations, attention drawn to this exchange. "Peace is always our preference," Davis said carefully. "But history taught us to remain prepared." "Prepared for what?" asked Ambassador Kelp of the Aquatic Merits, his voice bubbling through his water-breathing apparatus. "The Council has maintained peace for 12,000 years. Disputes are resolved through negotiation." Davis nodded. "That's admirable. On Earth, we've had periods of similar cooperation, but they've never lasted." "Because your species is young," said Trell, placing a massive claw gently on Davis's shoulder. "You'll outgrow your violent tendencies." Something in Davis's expression changed then, an almost imperceptible hardening of his eyes. "With respect, Ambassador, it's not about age. Humans have rules for war precisely because we understand how destructive we can be. Rules for war." A new voice joined the conversation, Representative Orla of the Insectoid Tit Collective. Her antennae twitched with curiosity. "What an odd concept." "The Geneva Conventions," Davis explained. "Laws of armed conflict. Rules defining war crimes." War crimes. Trell's translator seemed to struggle with the concept. "You criminalize actions during organized violence. This makes no sense." Davis took a sip of his drink before answering. "When humans fight, we establish boundaries, lines we agree not to cross. No torture of prisoners, no targeting civilians, no weapons causing unnecessary suffering." "And if these rules are broken," asked Orla, "then those responsible face justice," Davis said simply. "We hold trials. We punish the guilty." Trell's laugh resembled grinding stones. "You punish your warriors for being too effective. No wonder your species seems so harmless." The Marine's smile didn't reach his eyes. "You misunderstand, Ambassador. We don't have these rules because we're naturally peaceful. We have them because without restraints, humans are capable of unthinkable efficiency." A strange silence fell over the small gathering. Even the ambient hum of translation devices seemed to quiet. "During World War II, one of our largest conflicts, we developed nuclear weapons," Davis continued. 2 bombs destroyed 2 cities. Hundreds of thousands dead in moments. That was 80 years ago when our technology was primitive by your standards." The aliens exchanged uneasy glances. "Since then, we've had to create more rules, more limitations, not because we become less dangerous, but because we become more efficient at destruction. Our restraint isn't weakness. It's recognition of our capacity. You speak as though humans are predators. Orla observed, her antennae now completely still. Davis set down his untouched drink. With respect, representative we are, not by biology, but by choice and necessity. Throughout our history, the most dangerous predator humans have faced is other humans. Ambassador Trell's 4 eyes blinked in rapid succession. The Council should reevaluate your classification, perhaps. Davis agreed. But remember something, Ambassador. The most dangerous human isn't the one who breaks rules. It's the one who follows them precisely, right up until the moment he decides the rules no longer apply. The reception continued, but word spread quickly through diplomatic channels. Within days, human classification was quietly upgraded from minimal threat to approach with caution. Study grants for human history and psychology increased tenfold. And at the next council session, when voting on human trade restrictions came up, not a single species voted to maintain limitations. As Ambassador Trell explained to his confused superiors, if humans created rules to limit their own effectiveness in warfare, I have no desire to discover what happens when they decide those rules no longer serve them. Sometimes the most effective deterrent isn't a demonstration of strength, but a glimpse of restrained potential.